right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. NorCal Sports Network. Yes, another night, another day, or another game, whatever you want to call it, another loss. The Giants get their you-know-what handed to them today as they lose to the New York Mets 12-6. Back at Citi Field in New York. We're going to break it all down for you, tell you about the game, our takes on this team, all of that coming right at you. But first, let us thank our sponsor of the show, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Chapman Law Group, give them a call for all your legal needs at 415-613-9483. That's Chapman Law Group. Yeah, right there in Marin. Don't settle with an insurance carrier if you've got a personal injury. Give Chapman Law Group a call, as you may be leaving thousands of dollars on the table. The call is free. The consultation is free. Chapman Law Group. Tell your friends and family and let them know NorCal Sports Network sent you. All right, Lou. An ugly loss. What did I say last night? What did I say that Kai-Wei Ting, how many innings did I say he would pitch?
3
1/3.
Or they say 3 1/3. He should have never pitched it. If we had a decent manager, he would have taken him out before. But like usual, Melvin doesn't know how to work the bullpen.
3 1/3. There's Kai-Wei Ting. 3 1/3. All right, enough. Leave Kai-Wei alone. Leave Kai-Wei alone. Hey, I said stop it. Knock it off. Okay, there we go. Sometimes these guys act up and they just want to laugh at the Giants players. And we're not going to put up with that here at NorCal Sports Network. No laughing at our players. Who cares if he's double to AAA type player? He's a Giant. As Joey Yakum says, hit the highway, Kai-Wei. Yeah, hit the highway. Well, you could have predicted that. I predicted it yesterday. I said the Mets would win 9-2. I was a little off. I knew the Bats would make up when they put Kai-Wei in there. Yep, Kai-Wei is on a Kai-Wei to hell. As Mark Graves says, Kai-Wei to hell. Yeah, boy, look, Lou, I want you to do an exercise with me, but first, give me your breakdown. Then I want to do a little exercise with you on the Giants team. Go ahead, take over. Give us your
All right. Well, three things stood out for me. One is, and I'm going to say it again, our announcers are the worst.
No, I didn't listen to our announcers, Lou.
Somebody actually beat me to it, but here it is. Did anybody else hear Hunter Pence, not once, but twice, say Tang's outing was outstanding? He loved it, and he's looking forward to his next start. I guess he wasn't watching the game while he was broadcasting, because I don't want to see that guy come back and pitch. I mean, my God, it was like, here, hit me. That's number one. Number two, Melvin, again, for some reason, I talk about this a lot, shutdown innings. And what happens? The Giants are down 3-0 before you know it. They come back, and they show a little punch, which, a good team does. And the Giants come back, tie it at 3, and then they get the lead. Right? Top of the fourth. There's no reason for him to come back out. No reason. Because you're going to the bullpen already. Start the bullpen up so they can start an inning, not with one out in the inning. What does he do? He keeps him in too long again. I'm sick and tired of Melvin. He is the worst manager when it comes to Giants bullpen. He has no clue. I mean, anybody could see that he was running out of gas. All right, that's number two. Number three, the difference between the Mets and the Giants is one team knows how to do 3-4 consecutive hits in an inning. They don't need a home run. Just give me a single, a double, double, double. And today, they outclassed the Giants so bad, it was ridiculous. It shows why one team's 20 over and the other one's not even 500. What they do is they set up their 7, 8, and 9 guys, which we've been having problems with, to the top of the lineup. And you know what the top of the lineup does? It makes you pay. It makes you pay. And, it was one of those things. I mean, I bet the Mets today on the run line. I mean, I thought it was easy money. I bet $100. I was never really worried. This Giants team, you got to remember, when they have a good game and they score 6, they never come back and bounce. And tomorrow, since the Giants scored 6 tonight, really it was only 4. I'm going to come back and play the Mets tomorrow because I don't believe in the Giants pitching again.
Yeah, you got
back to you, Dan.
Wisenhunt tomorrow. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you tomorrow too. I might get myself a Mets hat like Dan, says Beto. Yeah, hey, I got them all up there behind me. Why are we not seeing all of them? Let me see. What? There we go. There we go. Okay. Some of them are, Mets on my head. Angels fell off the wall, and I can't find my little things to add to the wall. So until I get them, I want to go over an exercise with you, Lou, and let's just take the Giants today. All right. The Mets lineup: Nimmo, left field; Lindor, short; Soto, right field; Alonso, first base; McNeil's the DH; Mauricio, third base; Cedric Mullins in center field. He made a great catch the other day, leaping in center field. I think when he was with Baltimore, still, he went up and climbed the wall. Today, when he tried to jump on that Devers hit off the wall, he just either mistimed it or his foot didn't plant right in the dirt because he didn't jump very well. But then
it was
you got
almost, I know what you're talking about.
And then Beatty at second base. Give me the players that you would, if you had the Mets lineup, give me some Giants players that you would start on the Mets team.
None of the above. I wouldn't start any of the Giants. The Mets have a better team 1 through 9. There's not one guy of the Giants that would start for the New York Mets.
You wouldn't start Chapman at third base over Mauricio?
No.
Okay.
I want a guy that can actually hit a little clutch.
Okay. You wouldn't start I guess you probably wouldn't start Ramos over Nimmo either, right?
No, Nimmo's a great leadoff hitter. It shows you when you get a good leadoff hitter. Right. And the thing about him is he's so clutch because 7, 8, and 9 gets it to Nimmo and they make him pay. You got to remember, you see how they hide him? So they're batting him 6. Not like
some
Chapman.
People are saying Irish luck, kind of like Chapman would rather have Chapman than Mauricio. Ramos over Mullins, Irish luck. I'm not so sure right now but how about this one? Their second base is a little weak. Beatty, he's only hitting 228. Schmidt's hitting 248.
Yeah, but look at today. One hit, 3 runs, 2 walks.
Schmidt was 2 for 4 today. He's hitting 248. Wouldn't you play Schmidt over Beatty maybe? I mean, it's not like much.
No,
it's not much. I don't know. Is we keep seeing Schmidt at second base just missing balls that he's diving for, and one of the Mets commentators says his range is limited, and then another commentator they had Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling. I think it was Hernandez was making the comments that, well, the way they're playing Schmidt, they're playing him way over in the pool side, and they were saying that, he's not getting to the balls because they got him misplaced. He's not playing just straight away second base. And so they got him in the wrong spots a couple times. And then the play where Chapman kind of ran over in front of the shortstop and almost could run to second base for the force out.
Yeah.
They were saying that was not a great play by Chapman. Then they came back and said, well, was Schmidt even there at the time? And then they came back and said, well, Schmidt was playing way over toward first base, kind of that way, in the hole. So it's really tough for him to get over there. So I don't understand this.
I don't even know who the bench coach is. It's never happened probably 5-6 years ago. That's why our defense is so bad. They're playing out of place, and they praise Chapman. No, that was, first of all, he's only played 20 games at second. And what you're doing when you're starting out, you're listening to the coaches and they're telling you where to play. I don't think the coaches know what the hell they're doing. It's all the coaches. When you look at it, we never had this problem before. We're horrible defensively. We don't communicate in the outfield. We don't communicate on the infield. We're lined up the wrong way. I mean, you guys all say how great Chapman and Adamus is. I think Adamus is horrible as a shortstop defensively this year. Okay. I'm just, that's just me. Now, I'm saying Chapman's good, but we all think Chapman's so great. He's not going to be a Golden Glove this year. I mean, Adamus, I think, leads shortstops and errors. And I know Chapman probably has 9 or 10. He probably should have 15, but they give him a break.
Well, hey, NorCal fan says Tang is a diamond in the rough, Dan. Just ask Pence. No biggie. He couldn't control any of his off-speed pitches and nailed batters because he couldn't control a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Another giant crumb. And the other thing, too, one thing about Hunter, and I know we haven't brought this up, but 2 days ago, the 2026 Hall of Fame was announced. And I went on Twitter, and I went someplace else, and Hunter Pence was up there. And I wrote, and I said, how in the hell can you consider Hunter Pence a Hall of Famer? And if Hunter Pence makes it in the Hall of Fame, that shows you how bad the Hall of Fame is.
Oh, he's not
a Hall of Fame player.
He's not up there in votes enough.
No, he got nominated for next year, the new class.
Well, everybody gets nominated when they're eligible. Everybody.
Giant fans got upset at me saying, oh, dude, I guess you didn't hear his speeches. The Hall of Fame is for baseball, not someone that makes speeches. I mean, come on. Too many homers out there.
Well, everybody gets nominated. It's just that they have to get so many votes to stay on the ballot. So, I mean, Johnny LeMaster will get nominated. But, I mean, Pence is likely to probably not get enough votes to stay on the ballot. But you never know. I mean, he's not getting into the Hall of Fame. No, he's not getting in the Hall of Fame. The next giant that goes in the Hall of Fame is Buster Posey. And he'll be on the 27 ballot because he's 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, he'll be on the 27 ballot. And, baseball's not even going to be played probably much in 27. So that'll be something the Giants fans can get excited about, is Buster Posey hopefully going into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. But all right, let's do this exercise. We did the Mets, okay? Right now, the Padres are playing. That's another playoff team. Okay. Yep. Let me give you
2 out tonight. There'll be 2 behind the Dodgers after tonight.
Let me give you the Padres. Now, why? Okay, here we go. Let me give you the Padres lineup. And that's Tatis, Arias at first base, Machado at third, Merrill in center field, Bogarts at shortstop, O'Hearn's the DH, Laureano's in left, Cronenworth at second base. Fermin is catching tonight.
I'm looking at
Padres right now are leading the game, or it's tied 4-4. It's tied 4-4. St. Louis just came up with 4 runs in the top of the 4th to tie it. They were down 4-0. All right. So give me any players on the Padres the Giants players would start. You got anybody in that lineup that would you're not taking Chapman over Machado. You're not taking anybody over Tatis.
No, I don't know. Cronenworth, he's been so injured proof.
He's hitting 236.
Yeah. And Furman, I don't know who Furman is, the catcher.
No, remember who their catcher is. We got Bailey. He's hitting 254, yeah. Furman. He's not a bad hitting catcher. I would take the bat, Furman. You're not taking Lee over Merrill. You might consider Adamus over Bogarts, but maybe not.
I like Bogey. Probably nobody again.
Yeah, probably nobody. Okay, so we've got that. This is an exercise I want to look at. Okay, let's take the Dodgers lineup. And the Dodgers, Betts at short, Ohtani DH, Freeman at first. We know we're not taking Hernandez in right. Nobody there. Conforto in left. I think you can take Ramos over Conforto. We could agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pages in center. I think you're taking Pages over Lee. Freeland at third base. Right now they don't have much of a third baseman. I guess you would take Chapman. Rushing or Will Smith is their normal catcher. And then Rojas. It looks like you're probably taking Chapman.
And maybe that's it. Because, Will Smith would dominate.
Chapman and Adamus could start for the Dodgers.
Adamus, where would Adamus? I don't want. You'd rather have Adamus.
Did I say Adamus? Did I say Adamus? I meant Ramos. Chapman and Ramos.
Okay.
On the Dodgers. Okay. So we're just going through these playoff teams. The next playoff team that we want to look at would be
Milwaukee, Philly, Chicago.
Let's take a look at the Philadelphia Phillies in the East. We already covered the Mets. So the Phillies, they pretty much, Trey Turner, you're going to go with him. Schwarber, you're going with Schwarber over Devers or whoever our DH is. Harper, you're going with Harper. Realmuto, you're going with Realmuto. Castellanos in right, you're going with him. Bader in center over Lee. I'm probably going Bader just because it gives you a little bit of a possible blast. Kemp at third base. You probably go with Chapman there. Sosa at second base. He's hitting 266, and Stott can play there at second. So you're probably going with the Phillies there. Left field is Brandon Marsh. You might go again, Ramos, Chapman. Okay. Ramos is kind of iffy, but you're probably going those two. Okay. So we go to, instead of the Phillies, now let's go to the National League Central and let's take a look at the Brewers. Let's take a look at the Brewers. Okay, the Milwaukee Brewers have Frelick and right. You're going with Frelick. Contreras behind the plate, definitely. Vaughn at first base. He's been starting to heat up. Hey, by the way, Lamont Wade got released by the Angels recently. So our first baseman that we were so couldn't sign Pete Alonso all off season. We'll
probably bring him back. We got nobody else. Why not pick up more crumbs?
Yelich, DH, Collins, left field, Perkins, center field. Perkins, I like. Terang at second, I like. Siegler at third. There you go. You got Chapman. Ortiz, you probably go with on this team with the Brewers. You could probably go with Adamus and Chapman and maybe Ramos. Okay, so and then you look at the Cubs, and that would be the last team we would look at, the Chicago Cubs. Let me pull up their lineup. And the point of this exercise, guys, is the Giants don't have any good players to play on any of these. This is why they're not a playoff team. They don't have enough guys that would play on playoff teams. So the Cubs, Michael Busch at first, probably going to go with Busch. Tucker for sure, Suzuki, Pete Crow Armstrong for sure, Ian Happ in left field. He's not having a fantastic year. I think you could go Ramos there. Second base, Willie Castro, Nico Horner. You definitely go with that. Shortstop, the Cubs actually put Horner at short, but they normally have Dansby Swanson. And then catcher, they have Carson Kelly. I'm going there. Third base, Matt Shaw. Then you go Chapman. So Chapman, even though we know him not to be that clutch, he's probably going to be on all these other playoff teams. Adamus makes one or two. Ramos makes a few, and that's it. And then, of course, our pitching, Webb and Ray, would make starting rotations, and that's it. And then your bullpen guys, Rodriguez, and now it's just probably Rodriguez that's going to make somebody's bullpen, right? Maybe you get. So
speaking of bullpens, you saw what Rogers did today to the Giants, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
So we're at a point where we have to look at this team, guys, and say, why would you bring it back next year? Everybody's going, well, they're not good enough players to be on playoff teams. So what I'm pointing out to you is they've got a couple guys that can make it, Chapman, Ramos, and Adamus on few, but the rest of the team is not going to play. Maybe you get on a one or two of those teams. Casey Schmidt could play second base because a lot of these second basemen aren't hitting for average. Schmidt's hitting in the mid 240 range, 248, I believe he's at. I think, his defense has been flawless on balls he's getting to. I don't know, guys. I want to know from you in the chat are the balls that Casey's missing, is it just because he's not positioned correctly, or is it he lacks range to really play second base? Is it a, he's more built as a third baseman? He kind of moves like a third baseman. I don't know if he's got the range to really be, everything he touches, he's golden. But can he get to all the balls that other second basemen can get to in the league? Alex says, I think his range is subpar for the league standard. It seems that way. The things he does well at second base, he fields the position well. He's got a cannon for an arm on the double play. He's tagged, he's got good hand-eye coordination, but I'm concerned just a little bit about that range. And I'm not sure, is he mispositioned on the field? It seems to me if you got a little bit of a range issue, you're probably better off playing just middle of second base.
Like Steve Sachs, he had sort of a problem with the range. Well, no, he had more of the yips.
Arm. But, playing, standard second base, not playing, up the middle or playing way over to the pull side. I'm not sure.
And that's not him. That's purely the coaches directing him in the area. And that's why I brought up about a week ago. I think they really miss Wotus. You never saw any of these problems. I don't even know who the bench coach is. I just don't know. But, he was such a fixture. He would always have the players in the right area, or is it just analytics, because I don't see Schmidt pulling out the card. You know what I mean? I never see him that. I think he's going where the coaches tell him because he's still pretty new in the area.
Okay, so this is interesting. Okay, this makes more sense. On StatCast, his range is 21st percentile, implying his range is worse than 79% of fielders. Small sample, though. That's probably what you're dealing with. He's not a true second baseman. He's an excellent glove. We all know that, but they've got him out of place. So I'm just kind of surprised that, he is a natural third baseman. I mean, if you put Chapman over at second base, I think you'd see the same thing. Range issues. So, I don't know. I mean, I think he can play second base. I mean, Jeff Kent wasn't the greatest guy for range, right? A lot of these guys just aren't super rangy if they're kind of bulky. I kind of put Schmidt in that more. He's a corner. He looks like a corner infielder. He's got the body of a corner infielder. He's got a very solid lower half, big legs. That's you put those guys generally, you put your smaller scat guys, the guys that have quickness up the middle. That's just been the standard in baseball, second, short, and center field. Those are the guys that are generally the three of your most athletic positions and players on the field: shortstop, center field, and second base, in that order. Shortstop, center field, and second base. Second base usually is the least of the athletic guys. You want that shortstop that, can do all that. That's true. Chapman was a shortstop. I think he's a better fit for third base just based on, his build. But this team doesn't look to me like, Lou, they're going to be contender. I mean, everybody talks about, Buster just got 8 guys for 3 guys. Well, 8 prospects
we might see 2 of them. That's not going to improve the team for next year.
We're going to see Gilbert
next year. Yeah,
we're going to see Gilbert, and we might see this catcher, possibly this Rodriguez. But none of these guys are going to be standouts that you're going to go, no. Whoa. I mean, maybe Gilbert fits the ball club best because of his contact rate, but I just don't see anything special, Lou, when I watch a team that is slow, again, unathletic, again, high K rates, again, low contact rate. You can put it that way. Again, I mean, you could say, hey, we don't have a whole lot of
pitching to be as good as it was this year, next year.
I don't. I think it's a drop-off.
Probably a drop-off. So that means his team's not going to be as good.
No, I think you're going to have a drop-off with Ray.
Yep.
I think Roop, they may be able to say, oh, okay, we've seen how this guy is. I think Roop's got potential. I like Roop. I like Roop a lot. But I like his stuff. I like his mentality. So Roop, Birdsong, who knows what you're going to get there. Webb, I don't know. I mean, when Webb can't control the sinker and he has to come in with the cutter that comes up high in the zone, he gets hit. The key to Webb, he's got to be hitting his spots, and getting guys. Webb's best pitch is that sinker that looks like a strike and then just drops. Just right below the box, and guys swing at it and either miss or ground out.
Are you excited about Eldridge next year? With only 2 pitches?
I'm not so sure Eldridge is ready to go with his strikeout rate. If the guy's striking out this much in AAA, I'm really concerned what he's going to strike out in the majors. So I just don't think this team is built right. It doesn't have enough athletes.
I think the Giants are very lucky Ray was healthy and Webb almost the whole year. Your 2 aces. Everybody else is a question mark. Your 3, 4, 5 starter. I mean, Verlander's not even going to be back, so you're not even sure who your guys are. We don't have anybody in the AAA.
Yeah, are you looking at Birdsong, Roop, and Wisenhunt as your 3, 4, 5? That's not going to do anything. Wisenhunt doesn't have the pitching arsenal to be a starter, in my opinion, and a successful one. I think he needs to be a bullpen guy because he can be effective for 1 to 2 innings, but I don't see that going to be.
Dan, Alex,
and he's your top prospect. He's your second or third ranked prospect.
That's not saying much. Alex brings up a good point. If Chapman is still batting cleanup for us, this team has no chance.
Yeah, no chance. All right, I'm. This is still early, but I am beginning to wonder if Boston did not pull the wool over the Giants' eyes in that Devers. Here's my concern with Devers.
2 more Ks today, by the way.
Yeah. Let's take a look at Rafi Devers' stats as a Giant. Rafi Devers, let me pull him up. For the season with the Giants, Rafi Devers, what was he today? 1 for 4 or 5? I'm not looking at the box score. Well, let me pull it up here. Box score, Devers was 1 for 4 with 2 Ks.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I look at Rafi Devers with the Giants, he's hitting. Hold on. He was hitting 218 before today. He was 31 hits in 142 at-bats. So now he's 32 for 146. He should go up to about 220. 219. Okay. So he's hitting 219.
And how many strikeouts?
Rafi Devers with the Giants has had 54 before today, 56 now in 100. Did he walk today at all? I don't think so. Did
No,
he?
he did not.
No walks. You sure?
Yep.
Why does he have 4 at-bats and Adamus behind him has 5? And he batted.
Oh, because he got pinch hit. Devers got pinch hit by Matos late.
He did?
Yeah. In the ninth, because the game was over. They were down 18 or something. They had Matos.
He did not walk. Devers did not walk?
Negative.
Okay. All right. So he's 1 for 4.
Yep, with 2 Ks.
And he has now struck out 56 times in 171 plate appearances. 56 divided by 171. 32.7% of the time. A third of his plate appearances are strikeouts.
Welcome to the Giants. You fit right in.
1/3. Okay. Look, I said the trade need to be made. I am starting to wonder. Look, he's from the Dominican. all of these players, not all, I shouldn't say all, bad statement.
Are
Erase
older
that.
than they look. Yep.
Many, maybe not even many is the right word. Some of the players that have come from the Dominican Republic have had their age questioned. And if you look at Rafi Devers, he came up as a 20-year-old. At age 21, he hit 21 homers and drove in 66. At age 22, well, this is the juice ball era, 2019. He had 32 homers, 115 RBIs. Skip 2020. At 24 and 21, at 24 years of age in 2021, he hit 38 homers, 113 RBIs. All right. I'm starting to wonder, not too many 24-year-olds do that in baseball. Not too many 21-year-olds or 22-year-olds, I should say, hit 32 homers, even if the ball is juiced, and bat .311.
Agree.
Does Rafi Devers look only 28 to you with his body?
I think maybe this year he didn't take care of his body. Because he's got that stance, but then when you see him, the guy sort of looks broken down a little bit.
I'm wondering if he's a few years older, and because everything that comes out of the Dominican is such a mess, and they get the big contracts, and they get these guys signed at 16 years of age.
Yep.
Right, and they're huge at 16. Right, they look.
Yep.
Look, I was at a Chipotle a couple years ago, right across the street from the Mariners spring training facility.
I know where it is. Yep.
And I was in the Chipotle, and about 12 to 15 guys, and they looked like just huge, and they were all young guys. They were all like rookie league, and they were all like 16, 17 years old, but they were huge. And I'm thinking, these guys look like they're 21, 22 years old. I don't know. I just got to question sometimes. And how about this, Lou?
Yeah.
You remember when the Panda left after the 2014 World Series?
He went to Boston.
And he wasn't great with us, but he was good, right?
Yep.
He was a good hitter. He went to Boston, and he was a major flop.
Bust. He was a bust.
And then he came back to San Francisco, and he started hitting again. Like, do you think some guys just don't handle change well? Like, obviously, Panda did not handle the change well. And he also got a huge contract. Devers got a huge contract. When guys get this money, some guys, when they get big money, they just aren't the same.
Yeah.
I mean, Devers last year, he was paid though, and he had a solid year, hit 272, 28 homers, 83 RBIs. This guy's a career 277 hitter. But I want to know, why is he hitting 219 with the Giants striking out a third of the time? Why, and why is he missing fastballs right down the middle, swinging right over him? Well, I mean, this is a daily. This is getting to be like the other day. Didn't we watch him strike out his first 4 at bats?
He struck out 4 times 3 days ago and 5 days ago. He had 2 golden sombreros. That's bad. This trade, and it's not that the Giants are missing anything, okay? No, but it's just the money now that's there that you could use maybe somebody in the offseason. Here's the other thing. We know we have a losing record since the trade. They are 23-11 since the trade. They're not 10 games over.
NorCal Sports Talk Live makes a point here. The ballpark got in his head, and now he's carrying it on the road. Maybe. With all that said, Rafi's fitting in nicely. Well, he fits this team very nicely with the strikeouts. Look, I'm not going to make my final judgment call until next year's trade deadline. Okay. I want to see what Rafi does over the next year. If he figures it out, bounces back, I'll chalk it up to just change in the middle of a season that threw him in a tizzy, and he just wasn't ready for it. So we'll see. Ken,
Are you going to say this? Are you going to say the same thing about Adamus starting the season
next year? If he has a rough,
I mean, Adamus, he's in a new location, big contract. Remember how bad he played? Literally the first.
Yeah, it's horrible. The first, yeah. Ken, we just went over the strikeout rate. If you just joined us, he's striking out 32.7% of the time.
Yeah,
that's actually over 30%. Call it closer to 1/3 of his at bats, 1/3 of his plate appearances. Now, if I just go with forget the walks, okay, and the hit by pitch, that's how you judge a strikeout rate is based on their plate appearances, because sometimes they walk, okay? So you got to factor that in. But if I just took his strikeouts and just took his at-bats and not his plate appearances, Rafi Devers has struck out 56 times in 146 at-bats, and that's 38.3% of the time. Okay? So if he doesn't walk, another way of putting it, if Rafi's not walking, he's striking out 38% of the time. If he doesn't walk. That's unbelievable.
It's alarming. And Dan, I think Boston got rid of him for two reasons. There was a problem in the dugout, and you can see Boston's now flourishing without him, and the money.
Yeah.
I mean, Boston's laughing all the way to the bank.
Yes. Correct.
Do you think this is possible, Dan? With Buster being new, he got taken advantage of with Chapman.
Yep.
He got taken care of. He got taken by Adamus. And now with this trade, it almost looked too good to be true, and it's coming back and falling in our face.
It's
same thing with Verlander. You know what I mean? I mean,
it's possible that Boston knew that Devers was out of shape, that he was dealing with some lingering back issues, nothing serious, but they also know Rafi's work ethic and also see how he pretty much, in our world, if Rafi was doing what he did with Boston and he was an employee of your company, or he worked for me, or when I was managing a team and I couldn't get salespeople to do what I told them to do, we would fire them for insubordination.
Yeah. And usually the first 6 months, it's a trial period, but.
Right. But if you got a player that is, I get it, Boston handled it wrong too. But if you got a player that it refuses to play first base, what does that say?
It's not a team player.
Yeah, it says something about the attitude of the team. Like, I'm above the team. No, you didn't want me to play third base. You told me I'm the DH, so I'm the DH. Obviously, there's fault to go around with both sides. I'm not defending the Red Sox, but if you look at the major league standings, and I pull the major league standings up, Lou.
Mm-hmm.
Boston is 10 games over 500, and they've won 7 of 10. I don't know what their record is since the trade. is if somebody wants to go back
I just said that 22-11.
They're okay. They're 22-11, and the Giants are what, like 14-26 or something crazy? I don't know what are the Giants?
I thought they're 22-33. I thought the Giants were like 4 games below. No, they were what? Not when they made the trade, they were what? 8
They were
or 9
41
above?
and 20. They were
29?
41 and 30 when they made the trade.
Yeah, 11. So they're obviously now they're 12 under.
They were 41 and 30. Well, count the Sunday night they lost. They were 41 and 32. They were 41 and 32. That means they have lost 24 games. They're 14 and 24 since Devers put a uniform on. 14 and 24. And the Rockies have been better.
Oh, yeah, we're the worst in baseball. In fact, what's sort of funny, Dan, is the day before, if you remember the trade happened on that Sunday, Devers hit 2 homers against the Yankees. Boston swept the Yankees. He hit 2 homers on that Sunday, and then the trade happened. Are you aware how many homers he has as a Giant and how many homers he has at Oracle?
He has 2 at Oracle and 2 on the road in Atlanta. That's it.
I thought 1 at Oracle and 2 on the road.
No, he's got 2. He's got 2 at Oracle. We went through this the other night. He's got 2 at Oracle. Yeah.
19. Okay.
He came in with 15.
Oh, I thought he came in with 16. All right, my fault.
Yeah, he hit 2 at Oracle. He hit 1 to left field against the Red Sox that went into the bleachers, and then he hit 1 to straightaway center. George Curry says, I don't blame Devers. Can't be jerked around. They told he was a third baseman and signed Bregman and moved Devers to DH. Then they tried to force him to first base. I don't blame him. The Giants are struggling big time. Well, yeah, I get it too there, George. You don't want to blame. Can't really blame them. They did handle it wrong. But what does it say about a guy who says he refuses to play when it seems like Boston's looser, happier, and playing better without him? What was Boston's record when you know what? I'm going to pull this up. While you carry on with this, let me kill the standings here. Oh,
And Dan, you remember the trade was never ever going to happen unless the Giants took the full money. And I think what's surprising, wasn't it this the second year of the contract? Second year.
This is the second year.
That's where the Giants should have said, "Whoa, second year out of 8." You know what I mean?
Out of second year out of a 9-year
deal. That just doesn't happen in baseball.
Yeah, that's a red flag. Let me so we've got the standings up there, guys, to see what basically you can see is the Giants have to climb over the Reds. Forget Cardinals. Now the Marlins have caught the Giants, and I think they will surpass the Giants very shortly. I think the Giants are fading back. They're 6.5 back of the Padres. If the Padres win tonight, they will be 7 back. And right now, the Padres are down 6-4 to the
Dan, I think the key thing is I'm looking at the record right now. Is you remember Oracle, SB, Pac Bell? We used to dominate at home. Look at our home record, 28-26.
Yeah, this is where I said you have to win 50 games, and then you play 500 on the road. Hey, Lou, I'll be right back. I got to.
All right. No problem. The other thing about the Giants, we finally hit it. Our run differential is 0. You don't win when your run differential is 0. So after today's game, the Giants run differential is 0. It's bad. I see a lot of people in the comments. They're all saying, hey, don't worry. Devers will be good next year. I think, when you end it like that, I think we're all worried. It's one of those things. Anything can happen. And, this year with our pitching, I think next year it's going to be different. Our pitching saved us probably for the first 60% of the games, and now it's faltering. I mean, right now it's sort of ridiculous. We're not even sure what we're getting. We're going to New York, third best record in baseball, and we have Ray, who pitched great last night, and then today we had the young kid, and then tomorrow we have a young kid. It's embarrassing. The product that Buster gave us isn't that good. I know a lot of times, a lot of it's Farhan, but it's bad. I mean, if I were Buster, I don't know how he's going to handle this, because he's so used to working on a very high end, big scale, winning organization. And I've said this from the start, for a guy not trained, I think he's being taken advantage of. I think the Giants with their money is going to be a very tough off season. When we start next year, we got to think about Ray, who might leave the Giants, be a free agent. I don't know. The over and under is Buster 3 years. Why would Buster want to stay if he's going to be stuck with this team for a couple of years? It's tough because of the 4 huge contracts. The other thing about the Giants is, and me and Dan have talked about this, they don't play as a team. And what I mean by that, offensively, they don't bat, they don't bunt, they don't run. Offensively, it's not a machine. It's almost like too much one-on-one individualism. On defense, I've never seen teams play worse defense. They don't call. Every fly ball is sort of a mystery. We're talking about Dan with Schmidt. We're not even sure if he's playing in the right area.
White bean at the water.
It's just one of those things. So, this team has not improved from last year. And I think, it might be worse. Tell you the truth, we just have more problems than when we started. Go ahead, Dan. Can't hear you, Dan.
I said it might be worse. I want to get back to this Devers thing. We see the highlight there is what he did with what he's done with San Francisco so far. Okay. So he's had 107 after today, 171 plate appearances or 146 at bats. We're talking 56 strikeouts, a third of the time with plate appearances. 38% of the time he strikes out when he does not walk. Or hit a sacrifice fly. Okay. Hold on a second.
Do you think maybe he needs LASIK or can't see?
There's a possibility like that. Maybe
like Wild thing.
It's like the Max Muncy thing. Maybe the Giants should get his eyes checked. I got to eat something here. I'm getting the cramps. I haven't eaten today or tonight. So where, if another player was striking out at this alarming rate, what would happen? I mean,
he'd be benched. And you know what the thing is? We've had the same flow. You remember Lee couldn't hit for a while. Who else couldn't hit for a while?
The whole team.
Late night, Lamont. Yeah. I'm just going through. Lee was a disaster. Remember Lee had what, three RBIs in a whole month? It's bad. I just don't see an end of the road. I don't want the same team next year. I mean, obviously, they're sort of restricted, but they need something. They need to get younger, more athletic, clutch.
The entire team. So I told you, Beto said the entire team can't hit. It's bad.
Yeah.
When does NorCal Sports open Microsoft Word and start inputting next year's roster? Oh my gosh. It's very, I don't know. This is just a very flawed team. I don't see this team going anywhere during. I would try to break up the entire thing, Lou. I really would.
Yeah. You look at it, we can't hit. We have major problems. can't hit in the clutch, but Pat Burrell, who is still employed for some reason. I mean, in the past, when they've had offensive problems, Carney Lansford, they got rid of him. I forgot the hitting coach before him that they almost made as manager. They got rid of him. They got to do.
Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about?
Who was the guy before Burrow? Who was our batting coach?
We never had Carney Lansford.
Oh yeah, he was our coach. He was our hitting coach. We fired
Carney
him.
Lansford
From the A's. You don't remember that?
When?
I don't know, 8-9 years ago. They fired his ass.
Is it that long? Maybe I.
Yeah, there it is. Hensley. Yeah, they fired him because we weren't hitting. Thank you.
You said Carney Lansford was the Giants hitting coach?
Who was? Yeah, wasn't he the hitting coach that was with the A's? No, with the Giants, former A's player. Or am I wrong? Who was the guy that the hitting coach for the Giants that we fired? Used to play for the A's, third base.
I don't know. I'm kind of. Yeah.
Let me look it up. Maybe I got another A's. Because he was convenient. He was from the area.
All right. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Lansford was 09.
09, see?
Okay.
Yeah. And we fired his ass because the team wasn't hitting. Like I keep saying, is stop getting players from the Bay Area that were good. Necessary, you got to get, I don't know why the Giants, I don't know if they read the book for dummies for coaches, because everything they're doing recently just doesn't make any sense.
Well, let's talk about this team, Lou, in the sense of, sorry, guys, I had to get something. Look at the play today. Dom Smith comes in. Lindor bunts a hard bunt down first base. Runners on first and third. Adamus isn't even covering second base.
Nope.
So he has no place to throw it to second base. And he should have come home with the pitch, with the ball. We saw Kinzer with his hands up like this, but was he screaming home, home, home? I don't know. But Dom Smith's got to go home there.
And the pitcher didn't cover first because Schmidt was so far, he was way out in the outfield. So it was just, that's probably why it was a good time to bunt. And this is, by the way, an MVP that bunted the ball. Not just average Joe. He does what it takes to win.
What Pup USA Fiend? Dan told me I wasn't a real Giants fan because I wouldn't root for the Dodgers to help us into the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I remember that 3 nights ago.
Yeah, I said if the last game of the season, the Giants have already won, and you need the Dodgers to beat the team that would knock them out of the playoffs and put the Giants in the playoffs. And you told me you would be rooting. I
still wouldn't root for the Dodgers.
You still wouldn't root for the Dodgers. You would rather see the Giants sit home, and you'd rather watch the playoffs without the Giants in the playoffs because you wanted the Dodgers to lose so bad. That is not. I don't know how to slice it up, but that's just not very
right. You got to do what's best for the team.
Yeah. That's just I'm being
And George, you bring up a good point. Giants need to fire Pat the Bat. We have solid pitching staff. The Giants pitching staff has faltered since they've allowed Bevins. Well, Jelly's no longer with the team, and back to pitch multiple innings. Yeah, again, the bullpen run by Melvin has been a disaster. The thing is, Bochy was so good running the bullpen that they actually they changed the rules. There was no 3 batters. If you remember, Dan, there was no 3 batters where a pitcher came in and had to bat 3 batters. Bochy was the best. but the last couple of managers we've had have been horrible. You know, he shows no
kinda
emotion.
I knew that Beck was going to get bombed one of these days because that's what he does. That's just what he does. Lou, you need to get a hold of your marketing guy from Tommy's where you made the bet and see if they want to come on the show, and we'll give them a buyout. See if they want to hold true to the 90 or if they want to get a buyout.
What do they have? What do the Giants have to do to win 90?
They have to go
20 games over.
They have to go 35-16.
I feel pretty confident about that.
They have,
and it was all because he walked in and he was on the Buster juice. Dude, I put your money. And originally it was $500, and he got nervous.
No.
Like, I'm not nervous, you know. And then it went down to $150 just tequila. So when I see him when he arrives,
45 and 16 to win 90 games.
Yeah, that's
19 games over 500. I don't think the Giants will ever be 19 games over 500 in one season in the next 5 years. How's that, guys?
Yeah.
In the next 5 years, I don't think you'll ever see the Giants 19 games over 500 in one season. At any point.
And not with the product that we have. You know, it's
where's the winning coming from, guys? Where's the winning coming from? You're still going to have 5 years from now, unless something crazy happens different. You're still going to have Chapman, Adamus, and Devers under contract.
Yep.
And they're not going to be better 4 or 5 years
older.
from now.
No,
they're going to be older.
And by that time, Webb won't be a Giant anymore. Ray definitely won't be a Giant. I mean, that's the other thing. What are they going to do with Ray? He's going to want probably 3 years, $115 million. I mean, you're going to be getting these huge contracts. Or do you think he might want 4 years?
Yeah. He'll probably settle for 3 years, 90.
You don't think somebody would offer him more, a lefty?
I don't know. I just don't know where the Giants are going to be 19 games over 500 in one given season in the next 5 years.
It's hard.
I would almost be willing to bet quite a bit, like that 500 that you talked about. Where are the wins coming from? Kyle says, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I said write down your total win total before game one. I said 83. You said 84. I think I said 86, Kyle. I'm not going to hit it.
By the way, I know the chat's worried, but with the Giants falling down with their anchor, I've noticed Robert is only here very occasionally. Is everybody? Has anybody heard from Robert? Is everything all right, Mr. Rothberg? Oh, I feel good about the pitching staff. Oh, I definitely see. Oh God, you should see the odds. Oh God, Homer, I got to say it how I see it. You know, on this chat, you got to show up every game. Do you guys think Dallas likes coming on after a loss where he hears how bad we are? But he's a trooper. That's what makes Dallas.
Yeah, we're gonna bring Dallas on if he's available. Right now.
Same thing with Aaron.
I am sending Dallas the link as I speak here. So if he's ready to come on, he'll get into the into his studio and get fired up and come on in. So there's
Dan, a few things I wanted to bring up. You saw Snell pitch today for the Dodgers.
I did. They lost 4-0. He threw 86 pitches. You know, Not a big deal that they
No, they
lost.
just need a few.
They're just getting them tuned up. Lou, Alex wants to know: Do you ever say anything positive at all?
Yeah, the season's almost over, and I've already made my golf. I told you, make sure September 30th get your tee times, because all the Giants all their personnel is going to try to get on the course. Johnny Ward, I'll be ready for tomorrow. Today, look at the late pick 5, what it paid. Yours truly hit it. And I'm excited for a trip. I'm still going to see the Giants down in San Diego. I'm going to be with Dan, his brother, a few guys, and then we're going to go to Del Mar
Mark
Racetrack,
Graves.
and we're
Mark
have
Graves
fun.
will be there.
Yeah,
we'll have Mark Graves.
I'm still going to support the Giants down in San Diego. I don't know if they're going to win. I don't know if I'm going to bet the Giants, but I'm sort of hoping that we might be able to see the new sensation. Maybe go deep against the Padres.
I'm hoping Bryce Eldridge is up for that series.
So it should be fun. But it's and I'm excited. You know what? Next year, I do know that from rumors I'm hearing in 3 weeks they're going to announce the schedule for 2026. Right now, everything's been trying to work around because we have the baseball classic during spring training, so they're trying to decide that. But I'm excited to see the home schedule for next year. That's positive.
You got the late pick 5 today, Lou?
Yeah.
We're at Del Mar.
At Del Mar.
Where?
Yeah,
okay.
At Del Mar.
Okay, very good. And we welcome in Dallas up in
howdy. How's it going?
Up in the Sacramento area.
Lid. I like the lid with the orange.
He's got the orange and black hat on today. I've got. Hey, you know what?
I couldn't find my other one, so I had to grab this one.
I could match that. Look at that. That's a match. Yours looks a little bit more
orange.
Orangey red. Maybe it's my lighting.
Yeah.
Could be.
Dallas, one of the things I do every other year is we do a thing called Bedlam, which is Oklahoma against Oklahoma State. So I'd never been to Oklahoma State in Stillwater. And they are exact opposite of Giant colors. So they're all black with orange, not orange and black.
Right.
Everywhere you go, it's weird because when I went, I wore my hat and everyone goes, dude, your hat's wrong. And then they saw, it didn't say OSU, it said, SF, but it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
We need
but it's
Greg
complete
Dayton
opposite.
The bill is black and the hat is orange.
Yeah, it's orange. And then
we
the
need
lettering
Greg
is
Dayton
black.
to balance out Robert Rothberg. Where has Robert been? Where's Giovanni? Where are all these guys during this losing streak? I mean, what are the Giants lost? 7 out of 8 now?
Yeah,
It's
that's
tough
correct.
to keep the positivity going when there's nothing positive.
7 of 8. Hey, how close was I, guys, on the Kai-Wei Teng? I said 3 1/3. He went 3 1/3, and I said 9-2 because I said the bats would wake up for the Mets. They actually got 12.
I think you said that after the show was over, but I'll attest to it.
Yeah.
Did I say it after the show or did I say it before?
After you said at the end, hey, what do you think?
In the green room.
And all three of us didn't like the Giants.
Oh, shoot. We didn't say, I thought we said it on the show. All right. So we're going to do predictions.
But the Giants scored more runs than I thought they would, but it still wasn't.
Well, the last two can't really count.
We'll do some predictions for
Adamus
tomorrow.
Homer, yeah.
You got Wizenhunt
Giants are minus
tomorrow.
8-5 tomorrow. Yep.
Wizenhunt going tomorrow against who's going for the Mets tomorrow? Let's see.
Montez.
Right. Sunday, Giants, Mets, Frankie Montas. Okay. I'll let you guys go first. What do you think? We'll start with Dallas. Give us your prediction for tomorrow's game.
I think Wizenhunt gives up 3 runs. The bullpen gives up 3 runs. So the Mets score 6, and the Giants score only 5.46 earned run average. 6-4.
Okay. What do you got, Lou?
8-3 Mets.
All right. Montas has given up 6 home runs, though, by the way, in only 29 and 2/3 innings. That's quite a bit. That's a home run every 5 innings, basically. I'm going to say I'm going to say the Mets put up close to double digits again. I'm going to go with 9 or 10 runs, right in that range for the Mets. And I think the Giants get 5. I think it's like a 9 or 10-5 game for the Mets. It's not that close, but the Giants, long ball tomorrow. I'm calling off Montas that Grant McCray gets a home run tomorrow. And even though he's got 2 hits today, I'm not happy. The Giants might as well have just traded Luis Matos or just done something different with him and just DFA'd him because they're not going to play him. They're not going to play him because they're already in the platoon. And I don't know if this is Buster or Melvin or both in cahoots with one another, that they've decided this is what they want to do. If this is Melvin's call, strictly Melvin's call, then Buster needs to step in because you're
I hope that Matos is in left field tomorrow. It pissed me off that Ramos didn't run that out. So if Melvin saw that, then he needs to send that guy a message that I don't care if you're pissed off that you popped up. You got to run it out every time.
Oh, Will's got, okay, Will, send it up. Send it over, Will.
So tomorrow, if I see the lineup and Ramos is sitting down and Matos is in left field, I will be happy.
But this isn't the first time. I remember there in old school, there was a guy named Willie Mays Hayes. Every time he popped up and said hitting a ground ball, he had to do push-ups. I sort of like that. But, this is now 4 times the manager says something. He just doesn't care. That's one of the problems with the Giants. I think there's too much individualism. They're not playing as a team. When somebody makes a mistake, the other 8 guys got to say, dude, you're making us look bad. Don't let it fucking happen again. And they're not. They just go into the dugout.
Well, I think, guys, I see their chats. I see Hiroku, Alex, or not Alex, Ben Bamboo. It's Melvin, Ken. They're saying it's Melvin, and I think you're right because Melvin on the broadcast or on the post game the other night, they were asking him about Ramos on the infield fly rule, and they asked him, does he need a sit down or whatever? And he said no.
Yeah,
he says he's going to be. Yeah, they asked him about Adamus got a break. He says no, he's going to be in there tomorrow, and so he had already made that decision. I think Melvin has full reign over the lineups, which to me, it's been one of the most frustrating years of watching guys bounce around the lineup all over the place. Lee, what happened to Lee leading off? We're back to Ramos leading off again.
Yeah,
we're facing a right-handed pitcher today, correct? Who was pitching on the mound? Senga. Why is Lee first, 6th, 7th, 5th? What the heck is this?
It changes every game.
Every game. And what did they do when they were 12-4? It was the same. It was the same lineup for the most part. The first 2 weeks of the season, there was no screwing around with it. It was like set.
Yep.
Guys were
just
just
the same
playing
every day.
They were
except for when there was a lefty.
They were doing hit and run. They were stealing bases, and then it all stopped. It just stopped.
Right.
So,
well, first losing streak that came up, then he decided to start swapping things around and playing whack-a-mole and trying to figure out something that works. And at this point, it's just like he's pulling names out of a out of a hat.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at whack-a-mole. I just I don't understand the thinking behind these lineups. Like, if
He needs to be more assertive. He needs to send a message. And
Yeah.
because that was a sloppy game today.
another one,
Another
one.
Those are the types of games that they cannot have. It's a lack of focus. It's a lack of fundamentals. And that cannot be. Melvin's going to get himself fired if he lets that team continue to play like that.
Yeah, I think so. Mitchell and Ness, East Bay teams today, headline for the Giants was Giants are sellers, but still trying to compete. Like we have said many times, pick a lane and commit. Giants are a joke from the front office down. They really are. Look, this is a franchise. I am not afraid to say it because I'm not paid by the Giants. I'm not beholden to anybody. And I have to be true to myself. And what I am seeing from this organization is a lack of foresight into what they're really trying to accomplish. You think about this. Buster signed all these players that are long-term contract, and they're, besides Lee, they're pretty slow, right? Besides Lee, they're not very athletic. I mean, Adamus is not the fastest. We know Chapman's not, and Devers is certainly not. So I don't know how you rebuild this thing when you've got half your lineup practically is set in stone for years to come, unless you somehow can figure a way out of it. And the other half sucks to high heavens as far as the players themselves. Bailey can't hit. Yaz is gone. So right field looks like still a major problem. That's two of the lineup. Your DH is nothing special at all. There's three. I would say
if Devers is the DH, then they're fine.
Well, he's first base.
He won't be though long term. It's not going to work. Eldridge is going to be the first baseman, and Devers is going to be your DH.
And I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's going to work because I don't think Devers is going to enjoy playing at Oracle in the cold, and he gets 4 at-bats a game, and his head's not into the game except for when he bats. And
but he was a DH in Boston, and he did fine.
Yeah. He just said, fine, I'll just hit. But I don't see it. Of the 4 players that I mentioned, the DH, the right field, the catcher, and it's not because just because I like Casey. I do think he's a solid ball player. I think he's miscast at second base, but I think he's the best of those 4. And I'm not counting Devers in there. I'm counting Devers as your first base. So right now
you're counting the DH, whoever that is.
That's Wilmer or whoever it is. Yeah. It's just the lost position right now. If they go next year with Eldridge or Devers, we'll see. I think it's going to be an improvement. But I wish they would have just chosen a lane a couple years ago and went young. But they decided to pony up for veterans that are not what I would call star players. They're not stars.
Yeah. Problem is, it's hard to go young when your farm system is in shambles and you don't have anybody to go young with. So
true.
They have to remedy that situation for if they're going to be good in the future. But they had holes to fill, big holes, and they had to do the best they could in free agency which is not easy for the Giants to get guys to come here. And so, I mean, they did the best they could with Adamus and Chapman, but you're right. We're stuck with those guys now. They got to fill in around them.
And then do you guys think Eldridge is the, with Eldridge on our lineup, it's just going to be more strikeouts. Is it really going to change it that much?
Well,
and if he was on our team
tonight,
right now,
so
where would you bat him?
4th, 5th.
Okay.
If he's got the pop that he's showing in the PCL, and who knows if that'll translate, but I don't know. I mean, it's an unknown at this point. I guess we have to bring him up and give him a look.
All right. I mean, hey, at least it's excitement. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's I don't see any big time changes. The biggest change, look, if Devers comes back next year and he's a little bit better shape and he's agrees to be a DH, like Senior says, and let me find, if he embraces the DH, stays warm, goes down in the cages, works between the bats, and he embraces it.
Can't they get him some sort of like electric blanket thermal thing that he can wear under there and stay hot?
I don't know, but here's my caveat to all this. If Melvin comes back next year, do you think anything's going to be different?
I don't.
Not with him
at this
driving
point,
the bus.
I've kind of lost faith.
I don't think you can bring back the same. I don't think you can bring back this crew and then still have the same leadership, because I could tell you I've managed sales teams for many years. And once you lose that crew, you either got to get rid of those guys or you got to go. Because
Correct.
if I had a sales crew that was dynamite, but then I had some of the crew kind of like revolt, and they just thought they knew better and how they were going to do it their way instead of the company way and my way. And it fractured the whole sales team. And I ended up, the thing, I ended up actually taking a better job in the state of Louisiana. This is when I was in Connecticut. But something is going to have to give. Either the players are going to have to change for next year, or you're going to have to get a new leader, because if you bring it all back together, it's just going to be the same old stuff. Nothing. Yeah. Nobody's being motivated and going to be.
Yeah, there's going to have to be a postmortem that's done here, because he had them playing very well in spring training and in the beginning of the year, and then something switched, and now we're seeing a lot of the time now, a majority of the time, we're seeing bad baseball, and that's a problem, and it's becoming a pattern with him. His last year in San Diego, last year went sideways. This year, it's not working. So, I don't know. I assume that Buster was going to be able to identify the problems and see where things went wrong this year, because I don't know. It doesn't breed confidence in the team.
Well, you can't bring back the whole crew, like George says here. If Melvin is coming back, you got to make changes to your coaching staff. You can't just say, okay, we're going to run it back. I was listening to the Mets broadcast today, and I don't know if the Giants broadcast brought this up, but who was it that scored when? Oh, it was Jung-Hoo Lee. He was on second base, and the ball got hit over Soto's head, but Lee didn't. Lee kind of went halfway and looked like he was going to tag, and then he waited, and then he took off.
He couldn't see the ball had gotten by.
Yeah. Melvin put up the stop sign, and the Mets announcers were saying Lee ran right through Melvin's stop sign. Had Soto thrown it into the cutoff man toward first base instead of throwing into second, they might have got Lee out. But that's another example of a player just missing. Not
Matty at third. Yeah, they don't listen to Matt. They have no respect for him. He's like a walking dead out there. They they run through his stop signs all the time. It doesn't matter who it is. Nobody.
Did they mention it on the broadcast of the Giants that they ran through?
No, but they brought it up last homestand
on the radio
when they played the Mets.
See, the Mets have so much. They're not homers. The Mets. They will rip on the Mets. They will rip on the Giants. They will praise the Giants. They're just giving you the facts. And
no, they're good.
Alex
they're really good.
Dan, that's not how it was. Well, I saw the replay on the Mets broadcast. I was watching the Mets broadcast. Williams was right there putting his hands up. He was way, way up the line. So Williams was basically telling Lee to stay.
Yeah, but they're not holding the players accountable. Okay. If a player screws up, respect. They're in there the next day, and there's no accountability. So
yeah, Dan, obviously
no one's steering the ship.
Yeah, they don't do the kangaroo court anymore, I guess. Remember that was the thing? Remember with that growing up at the Giants, you made a mistake, you got caught stealing, you missed a bunt sign, you'd have to throw $20 in, and you'd have to go to court. But I think Melvin's lost the team because it's not just one player; it's a bunch of these guys. They don't even sit. It's almost like the non-English guys sit. If you notice the bench, they go home sign.
In Korea, that means go.
But I think he's lost. I think he's lost the dugout. I think the players don't respect him. They don't respect Matt because Matt looks like the Walking Dead. Obviously, they don't, respect Pat Burrow, because mentally this team is flawed in so many ways. I mean, it's just not hitting. It's base stealing. It's communication in the outfield. I mean, they barely do it right when they do cutoffs. They always send the wrong thing. I mean, how many times have you seen Lee not even throw it to a cutoff guy? He throws it like 2 feet ahead, or Ramos. He just throws it just sort of the infield when there's two guys there, and it's bad. If this team was 10 over, all these mental mistakes should be even blowing up more. But since we're just average team, we just sort of let it go by.
Yeah.
By the
let's talk about this, guys, because this makes me think about something. We ripped on Farhan more than anybody. At least I did here on NorCal Sports Network for the last few years. Just gave it to him night after night. But the one thing Farhan never really did, well, he did with Lee. He got a big contract with Lee, but he didn't lock guys up long term. He didn't.
No, usually it was like 2 years or less, 2 or 3 years with the pitchers.
I mean, he did try and lock up Correa, and did the same with Judge. Judge would have been fine, and Ohtani, but I still suggest that the Correa deal was signed and it didn't move anything with the ticket sales, that they just said, Farhan, figure a way out of this. You got us into this mess, get out of it. Whether it's, the physical, he's not going to be a Giant for this amount of years. But think about this. Buster took a different approach. And he wanted stability, and he wanted continuity. And he first move was weeks before you can't tell me that they didn't know Farhan was getting fired. They knew Farhan was getting fired I say they knew Farhan was getting fired the whole year if they didn't make the playoffs. And Posey was taking over. And I think that's why Posey moved back from Atlanta after being only gone for a short while, moves to the Bay Area, goes to Atlanta to be with his family and his wife, Kristen's family. And then all of a sudden they're moving back in the middle of the 23 season because Buster wants to be a little bit more hands-on as an owner. And I'm like, oh, come on. Yeah. So he's like, okay, we're not going to fire Farhan this year. It doesn't look good if I come back in the summer and we fire Farhan. We'll work on this the whole next year. And Buster gets the job. And the first move he makes, he gets Chapman for 6 years and gives him a 6-year guarantee with a no trade clause, which was a hangup. Farhan wasn't getting it done. Buster steps in. A few weeks later, Farhan's let go. And then Buster all of a sudden gives a speech that, yeah, I just decided to take this job in the last day or two. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. If you believe that, I got some oceanfront property right here in my backyard in Arizona, I can tell you. So this happens. And then it's Adamus for 7 years, 182. And, you know, they didn't have a shortstop, and I get it. And I was like, okay, I'm hindsight being 2020. I'm not crazy about 7 years for a shortstop.
Of course, but you had to get the deal done. 26 million AAV isn't horrible.
Right.
It's
and especially with the Giants' amount of money. But as Philip says here, it worked. Dan, the yard is packed. I'm not happy about it. Just stating. Yep, it worked what the Giants ownership wanted. They got the Buster Kool-Aid effect. And the Buster Kool-Aid effect is everybody believes that Buster can do the job. And, you know, I had my doubts when it happened. I said so. And then I started seeing the vibe in spring training, and I kind of changed my tune and said, you know what? This guy's a winner wherever he does. Whatever he touches turns to gold. And they got off to the, you know, great start. And I was like, I think I got a little overamped in my thinking about Buster. What I'm seeing more now is a guy who's learning on the job. He even stated it on Sunday Night Baseball a week ago that he's just learning and that he's got Zach Meneasen and Jeremy Shelley kind of doing a lot of the work. And he's just building relationships with other GMs. He doesn't even have full relationships. So, and we saw how active everything was. And the Giants couldn't make but 3 deals at the deadline. Like Yaz, Duvall, and who was the other one that got let go?
Rogers to the Mets.
Oh, Rogers was the day before. So you couldn't tell me that we couldn't get anything done with the deals flying off the shelves all day Wednesday and Thursday morning. It was just boom, boom, boom. And the Giants finally come in with a deal at 3:00 after the 3:00.
Yeah. There wasn't that many deals that were made before the deadline, though.
Oh, there was a lot of deals.
There was a few, but everything comes in at the end when you have to make a decision.
Right. But
I think Dan said both of ours happened exactly like at 2:59 and 30 seconds.
Yeah, both of ours that day. But there was a ton of other deals. There was over a dozen deals all day long going on. And there were all these relievers that were being moved. I mean, the Yankees got Bednar.
Yeah, but they moved Rogers the day before.
Right. They got a good deal. And I think what happened is they thought they can still get a great deal, and they kept holding on. And then they finally said, well, I guess we better take what is left or we're not going to get anything.
Yep. That's probably what happened. because I
And
do think they got a pretty good deal on Rodgers, and they
Rodgers
probably
was a
could have
good
done
deal.
better. They could have done better on Duvall because he has an extra year of controllability. But they did okay.
Alex
hey, Dan.
going to
Okay,
go
I'm
for
sorry.
it next year. Okay.
Yeah,
Alex,
okay.
how are they going to be better next year? The only chance the Giants have of being better is if they sign a Kyle Tucker, and I just about bet my mortgage that he's not coming to San Francisco, especially with watching how Rafi Devers has hit in the ballpark or hasn't hit. So,
And Wilbur will be gone.
I don't see how they're going to be better next year.
Yeah. Hey,
Well,
Dan, one of the things. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Doss.
In the offseason, Buster is going to identify what their biggest weakness was. Last year, the biggest weakness was they didn't have a shortstop. He went out and got a shortstop. This year, he's going to look at the team and say, we don't have a right fielder, or we don't have a second baseman, or we don't have a catcher. And he's going to have to address those situations, or at least one or two of them. And he'll try to make the team better in the offseason. That's what he's going to have to do.
Producer Ryan just stepping into the show as we're getting close to the end here, but I said I'm holding off my judgment on Devers until next trade deadline. If he's this bad, it's a bust. I think he can turn it around, but he struck out a third of the time so far as a Giant, 33%. And he's striking out on pitches that are fastballs right down the middle, and he's swinging and missing them. I don't understand it. Something's way off.
He's a proven commodity, though. He's been in the league for 8-9 years, and
yeah, he should.
All of a sudden, he's not going to come to San Francisco, and his strikeout percentage is going to go up by 25%. That's just not how it works. So the strikeout
be able
thing,
to turn it
it's
around.
a small sample size.
I'm of the belief that Devers will turn it around, because he has proven himself. But I'm just sitting here telling you that I don't see, Bo Bichette, he would be wonderful addition, but he's probably not there. Unless they're going to move Adamus to second base and play Bo Bichette at short, or vice versa. I mean, Buster's going to have to go overpay for Bo Bichette too. You think Bo Bichette's coming here for anything less than 6 years, 150? No chance. No chance. After he saw what Chapman and Adamus got, Bo Bichette's a better hitter than both of those guys.
Dan, I'd love for you to get back the guy you interviewed, who basically used to work for KBR, that basically got torched when Buster
I've
came
talked
on.
to Dieter. Dieter will be coming on.
I'd love to get him on now,
this week,
just so we can see, hey, exactly what you said. What do you think? And then just some of the plans. Because, he didn't hold anything back, which I sort of enjoyed. He spoke from a fan's point of view, but he had facts to back it up.
I've already been in contact with Dieter on trade deadline day.
Okay.
We'll get him on hopefully within the next week. Look, I'm going to say it. No one else is going to say it out there. As much as I love Buster Posey as a player, as a person, again, I got this guy right there, Buster. There he is, waiting for me. Hey, buddy. Look, I'm one of Buster's biggest fans. I don't think, maybe he learns the job and he becomes really good at it, but I don't think it's going to happen in the next year or two. I think to become a shrewd GM, you got to know how to be a salesman. He looks passive to me.
Isn't he already doing better than Farhan? And Farhan has been doing the job for
Farhan was a joke.
8 years.
Farhan was the worst executive I've ever seen in my lifetime. That's not a huge improvement. I think Buster, I don't know what he's done that great. He signed Chapman. He signed Adamus. He signed Verlander. He signed Yaz. He signed Wade. They suck. I mean, Chapman. I mean,
Yes,
not Chapman,
it was
but
just
Adamus.
was just
Adamus
an
is a good player.
arbitration.
Yeah, but
He
you
signed
didn't
Yaz,
have
but
to. You didn't have to sign.
But most
Why-
teams would have done it. It was only $9 million for a fourth outfielder. Fine, it's not
$9
that big
million
of a
for a
deal.
fourth outfielder. I would have said,
Yeah, it's not.
here's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way
The problem
out.
is that they played him too much. They should have left him as a fourth outfielder and not started him every game. And that's on Melvin. That's on all of them. But
yes, but he's a left-handed bat. They have a platoon mindset, so he's gonna play almost every day because how often do they face a lefty? 25% of the time.
But
so,
I can't blame him for Adamus.
I'm not going to blame him for. I'm not
year.
going to blame him for Adamus because that was a move
and
that had to be made.
Devers was a steal. That was the trade that every GM in baseball would have loved to have made.
I think it should turn out to be a good trade. They didn't give up hardly anything. They have the money. I'm not going to poo-poo the deal on Devers. I'm going to give it a year. I'm going to give it a full.
All right. So Chapman is your problem.
Chapman was always my problem. Verlander's a problem. Wade was a problem. Yaz was a problem. I have a problem with all of those. I have a huge problem with Wade and Yaz, who were arbitration eligible, and you couldn't tell me you couldn't have let those guys walk and gone out and signed better outfielders and better first basemen. You had Pete Alonso
they didn't want to
sitting
block.
out there.
Eldridge is coming, so they didn't want to sign
somebody
long term at first
base.
Then
give Alonso a opt out. Say you opt out after the first year. I want to win now. Why we're not blocking Alonso if you give him a big contract, for 1 year and say, okay, we'll sign you we'll give you the 3-year deal, but you can opt out after the first year. Buster was so words we were getting is he was so against opt outs that he wouldn't even entertain it. And you lost out on a first baseman. You didn't go after and get.
But the opt out is no good because if they suck, you're stuck with them, and if they're good, they're gone. So why would you want to do an opt out?
So they're gone. They're good, and they help you win. They helped you win, and who cares? Spencer Torkelson, totally available for nothing. The Tigers had Colt Keith set to play first base, and Torkelson was odd man out, but Colt Keith got hurt in spring training, and so Torkelson took over, and he took off. He was a young stud hitter from Arizona State, the former number 1 pick in the entire draft, and he's from the area. I forget where Mark Graves is from. All of a sudden, I'm forgetting. Mark, where's Torkelson from? Petaluma. There we go. So, not that matters, being in the area, but the fact is he's talented. He's young. Giants, nope. We're not going to block Wade. We're going to go after. Eldridge. We're going to go. So. George says, Dan, Posey just traded Yaz. Yeah, he should have never had him. Release Wade. Yeah, he should have never had him. Verlander is gone after this year. Yeah, should have never had him. Dan, all the GMs passed on Torkelson. Well, we don't know that for a fact, but most of the GMs had first baseman in place. They didn't need first baseman. The Giants had a major hole at first base, but they thought they could plug it up with Wilmer Flores and Lamont Wade, and that was their plan, and it really worked well. Lamont Wade might be out of baseball right now. In fact, he is a free agent.
They just released him today,
or was it today? Yeah, I saw that he was released. I didn't know it was today. So I don't get the fact that we're looking at Buster as this guy who's just knows talent. I'm saying he's learning on the job. And basically, all he did was go out and sign Adamus and then fielded the same team and says, oh, I'll go get a vet that's 41 that's coming off a year with a ERA close to 6. So I don't think the whole idea, there's so many young third basemen out there, and we see guys that are getting traded. And I can't blame Buster for the farm system. That's not his fault. It's going to take him 3 years minimum to rebuild it. Minimum. But my big thing with Buster was I think he signed Yaz because he played with him, and I think he signed Wade because he played with him. And that's not what an executive comes in and does. A true, strong executive says, you know what? These guys might be my friends, but they're not right to be on my ball club. He
It's
did
business.
that. It's business.
Yeah. And you remember he signed Melvin to another year, even though, he can get out of that. I mean, it's just the money. Dan, maybe when he took his job, guys like Larry Bear and the ownership, if you remember, the trade only went through for Devers because the ownership said, yes, we'll take the money, right? So maybe they did that out of desperation, but maybe they told him, hey, you got 3 years, do your best. We want to still make money. Our budget's $220 million. Don't worry, it's your first year. Everyone's going to give you a pass. Don't worry about it. We got great promotions every single week.
Yeah.
We got Lee, who's going to be good.
I
No
do think
pressure.
you're right.
Just do what you have to do.
Because they took money off the table going into this year. They traded the lefty Rogers
Just
to save money.
Yeah.
And this whole year you could have used another lefty in the bullpen. So I guess we should be surprised that they allowed him to go and make that trade for Devers.
I don't have a problem with the Devers trade. It showed some
Kahunas.
Yeah. I mean, the ownership group stepped up. I mean, look, hindsight is always 2020, right? We can't sit here and say we love the trade and then say after 6 weeks the trade sucks and you should have never made the deal. I still would make the deal today because you don't
Absolutely.
get a hitter like Devers to come around. But I am saying that if he doesn't turn it around by the All-Star break and he's striking out like he is now and he's looking like the player he is now, you got to figure a way to get out of it before the trade deadline. You got to say, okay, we've got to make some moves to get something back for him because we can't do this for another 7 years. Remember, you still got
probably they'd be able to do that because they could play the whole, well, he doesn't like this ballpark, right. And he's we'll trade him to Cincinnati or wherever where it's a bandbox and he'd be able to hit it out a lot easier. So
right.
I think even if they had to get out of it, I think they could.
Yeah. So in that case, it's not a horrible deal. It's not a horrible deal at all because they can get out of it. I think they should have traded Robbie Ray personally and said, you know what? If the hang-up is his $25 million salary next year, how about if we cover 50% of it? You only have to pay $12.5 million of it. We want your top prospects. A couple of, we want some guys. Because I'm telling you, the only hang-up with Robbie Ray was the salary. Look, if the Giants aren't willing to spend the money and they have loads of it, how about all the other teams?
The money, though. And they certainly don't want to pay $15 million when you can have a second ace on your staff next year.
Well, what are you going to do, Dallas, if that second ace next year come All-Star break or trade deadline, you're sitting in the same spot as you are the last 4 years, where you're just sitting there at like close to 500. You're in the middle of the pack, and you're like, do we do the Rodon and the Snell thing a third? Keep doing
without
that?
him, you're probably not even close to 500. You're probably 400.
Not if you get young pitchers that are ready to pitch in the big leagues, that might be just as that can grow.
They could be as good as Ray.
See, eventually, I just think the Giants keep living with this mentality that they got to make the playoffs next year. They had to make it this year. Now next year it's going to be we're going to make the playoffs. At what point do the Giants say, you know what? We keep trying to make the playoffs by patching, taking this Band-Aid off this problem and we patch it over here on this issue. How do we end up getting younger and better players if we keep trying to make the playoffs year after year with mid-level talent. Where's the talent on this team? Tell me where the real talent is besides Webb and Ray, who's got 1 year left. Where's the real talent that says, oh my gosh, we got a Ellie De La Cruz. Oh, we got a Ronald Acuna. We got a Jackson Churio. We got a Cal Raleigh. We got a Julio Rodriguez. We got Shohei. We got Betts. We got Freeman. Where is the talent on this team going to come from if you can't get younger, better players that come up and start trading for those younger players? I don't see where the talent's coming from.
Well, they just traded for 8 younger players,
but none of them are good prospects.
We don't know. You just named a bunch of names that already made it. We don't know the players that they already have. Dakota Jordan, Johnny Level, Yozar de Jesus. Are these guys going to be like the people you just named earlier? We don't know.
Josar could be, but we also heard that from Marco Luciano for 6 years.
Yeah, but every team has names.
Yeah,
that
every
you think are going to
team
make
has
it,
them,
and they don't.
Well, it sure seems like
you don't
the
know
Giants,
until they make it.
Yep, most don't make it. So it's kind of, at what point do the Giants make a change in this organization? If they can't develop anybody in the minor leagues, then why are we still going with the same people year after year? Why aren't we going out and saying, well, who does develop well? Well, look at Tampa. They always seem to have prospects. They just come out of nowhere. Why don't we go double or triple the salary of the guys that are running Tampa's minor league system? Why do we stick with the same people we have?
The player development needs to improve, and they should be looking to spend some money on that staff.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Look at the A's, how they draft talent and then they develop it. Why can't we do better than the Sacramento A's when it comes to talent? Why is their talent evaluators and scouts from a crappy run ownership group, the guy's the worst in maybe all of sports, and yet they're developing players? And, we have Chapman because he was great with the A's for a few years. And so we all got Matt Chapman. Yeah, we don't have Matt Chapman of 2018 and 19. We got Matt Chapman of 25, who's 32 and is going to be 33 next year. And guess what? We have him for 5 full seasons with a no trade clause.
Yeah, that's kind of the perk of being a team that doesn't want to spend money. As soon as a player gets good and you have to pay them, then you trade them. And so your farm system gets built up a lot because you get rid of guys as soon as they're good.
You're talking about the A's?
Yeah.
Yeah, they get rid of the guys because they don't want to pay them.
Exactly.
That's John Fisher. But they've run circles around the Giants for 15 years, the better part of 15 years, except for the 3 World Series championships when we drafted in the early before 2010. You look at those drafts, we had Kane, Lincecum, Bumgardner, Posey, Crawford, all before the first championship, and Belt. They were all drafted before they won the title. And then they came up together and they actually hit because they all went together because they actually drafted these guys with, better draft slots because they were not competitive for 4 years. So the Giants refuse to try to go that way and just do a actual 3 to 4 year rebuild. What is worse, going 3 to 4 years of being 70 and 90, or going 9 years at 80 and 81 and 81? I mean, this is where this franchise is going. They are going to be middle of the road for the foreseeable future. I do not see this team winning or making a playoff run in this decade. They might make the playoffs once in this decade, but they're not going anywhere. This team doesn't have enough, is far, far short. And why am I feel like I'm the only one that is, and I might be wrong, guys. I might be full of crap in this whole, my take on this, but I don't hear anybody talking like this in the Giants media circles. I don't hear one person talking about how the Giants are a franchise that looks completely rudderless. They look like they have no direction what they're going. They're drafting guys again that are players that don't have huge high upside. They've got lower, they're drafting guys with higher floors with low ceiling, except for Dakota Jordan. Now, he may never make it, but if he does, he's going to be one of those studs. But the rest of the guys, look, I could go find a lot of players across baseball that are just slightly above average. Guys like Jordan Westberg, Nico Horner, guys like that are around that are going to be are solid baseball players, but they're not going to be stars. You think this Colleen kid, I'll be shocked if he's a all-star. I'll bet he's just another average Joe player, just like this guy they traded for, Drew Gilbert. He's a first-round former pick of Tennessee. He's just going to be another average Joe. Look, the Wade Mecklers of the world, they're all over the place. Guys that can hit decent and they make contact. Luis Matos was all of that. And I'm not arguing with you, Dallas. I'm talking not to you so much as I'm talking to the people that are listening right now. I don't see this team having any upside with the type of players that they get. Yeah, Joe Panic, Hiroku. There's another guy. That's who I think this Colleen guy is going to be. These type of players that are baseball players that don't have a ton of athleticism. And George Curry, you might be right. Nico Horner's probably a better player than some of these other guys. George Curry's a good ball player too. No, Nico Horner is a good ball player. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that might be the best the Giants are drafting, that type of player. They're not getting any guys that, like Ramos, for example. To me, I'm not giving up on Elliot Ramos because he has the tools. He just needs some more work with coaching, good, solid coaching, and getting him
next year is going to be a big year for him. I mean, he had a great first year, all-star. This year, I mean, he still has the highest average on the team, but he's had some growing pains and kind of a sophomore slump. So hopefully he can step up. He has
a higher ceiling than most. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. I want to see more guys that have power, speed, can hit for some average. I think Ramos is just miscast right now with the way they've got him. But I just think, like, again, I hope I'm completely wrong and that these guys show up and play really well. But when you watch the game, from when they won the World Series, right? They won it with sound defense, excellent pitching, timely hitting, and they didn't have really a ton of stars then either, right? They didn't have
I think
stars.
their offense, the individual players offensively, they have better talent now than they did then.
But what's the difference with that
they don't have
team?
The pitching.
And the one other difference, I showed it the other night.
Solid.
No, I showed it the other night when I went through the strikeout rates. That team
they
in
didn't strike
the
out.
one World Series,
put
they
the
didn't
ball in
strike out
play.
all the time. This team
That's true.
is
It's a
awful.
problem league wide, though. Only a few
It
teams
is,
actually.
but it's more prevalent on some teams than others. The teams
And they
that
had
Yeah.
pickups.
I hope that's a
to improve
change.
the team. Big pickups they got. Blockbuster, Cody Ross. I mean, the Giants wouldn't have done anything without Cody Ross. He carried them.
yeah.
And
And Ryan makes a good point here. You did have real stars with Posey. I was talking about Posey as a one star, but if you want to factor in the pitching, they had two legitimate stars, and Matt Cain was pretty darn good too. So
He's great.
yeah, you had three excellent pitchers that, there was just, you could throw out there
core four.
Yeah. And so
Because
that team was very, very solid. And let's not forget, they had a baseball man that was a former scout that was a tough son of a gun that wouldn't take no prisoners and wouldn't take any BS from anybody, running the ship in Brian Sabian. And Ned Coletti as his assistant for 8 years prior to the Giants winning their world championships. So you had two tough guys. When you listen to Zach Menaeson talk and Buster Posey talk, I don't sense any like shrewdness. I sense just really nice guys, really, really nice guys that are just trying to, figure this whole thing out. I don't see where the Giants are going anywhere with the front office they have right now. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but I got serious doubts.
I disagree.
That's fine to disagree. That's what sports is all about, right? Everybody has a different opinion, and we can disagree. And I think Buster has all the desire in the world to win. But I don't think I think he's going to find this job much tougher to get deals done. Look what AJ Preller has done. Who would you rather have? Now he's selling the farm, but who would you rather have? What San Diego's got cooking for the last 5 years or more? And
aren't they just mortgaging their future? And if they can't beat the Dodgers, then they're going to be screwed. It's like it's all in for them now.
All right, bring up Seattle. That place is rocking. Isn't the guy running Seattle former Giants? It's almost like all these guys that were decent with the Giants have gone their own ways and been successful. Detroit, Seattle, But that's why you have minor leagues, so you can get the you can make the bigger ball team championship material. When you don't have it, you don't have it. Who cares if you give your mortgage? Nobody cares about AAA championships. Like somebody in the chat the other day said, "Oh, San Jose's doing good." Nobody cares. It's all about the major leagues. Yeah, your job is to get guys.
The Rivercats won the 2019 AAA championship. Any players from that team that made it to the Giants that are worth anything? No, none of them are around.
Nobody cares. Yeah, Seattle has. That's right. And now I remember who Seattle has.
I don't know. You guys give me your thoughts. I mean, I just went on a long kind of ramble monologue on this whole thing with the Giants' future. Tell me why I'm wrong and you think it'll work out.
Well, I mean, all I can go by is what I've seen so far, and comparing it to Farhan, maybe it's not saying much, but I see Posey as a realist. I see him assessing the needs of the team in an unemotional way and trying to address those needs, trying to make incremental improvements. I think he knew going into this season they weren't going to win the World Series this year. They weren't going to make the playoffs probably, but he wanted to assess what they had and and then he can kind of come up with a plan going forward. I do think they made some mistakes. I think you're right about Yaz. I think at this point we still don't know what's going on with a lot of the young guys that they've had in the farm system that are coming up against their minor league options limit. So they haven't been perfect, but I think Adamus addressed a need. I think that, yes, he got off to a bad first start, but at the end of the year, his numbers aren't going to be too far out of whack of the rest of his career. I think Devers trade was great. We haven't seen it yet, but we will see it. That guy can hit. He's a real hitter, and it's just a matter of time before he gets it going again. So those are some big moves. I think I liked what Posey did at the deadline. I think that he had to sell. He had to make the decision to try and get some pieces for those players, and he did it. We wouldn't have seen that last year. We would have seen Mark Canna coming in or some other guy that's like that, filling a stopgap. Yeah, we can still make it. We're only 5 games out, and Posey said no. Sorry, we're going to move these guys, and he picked some players that we could do without, and that had value, some amount of value, and the 2 relievers that had value, he was able to move them, and if he didn't get enough for Robbie Ray as far as offers go, then I don't mind keeping him, because they're going to need starting pitching. As much as you want to blow up the team and just rebuild, and the Giants aren't going to do that. They want to sell tickets.
Yep,
they're in
it's
the
all about
money-making
tickets.
business, and just taking a year off or 2 years off just to rebuild, that's not in the cards for the Giants. So in order to win with this team, they're going to need pitching, and having Ray next year is one less hole they have to fill. They have him for next year, and they don't have to go out and sign Corbin Burns for $150 million or whatever it is, and risk injury. So you have to have good starting pitching, and you have to do it cheaply, because it's a big risk.
Yeah.
You sign some long-term contract, and I don't think we're going to see Posey signing any pitcher to a 5-year deal.
I agree with that. And look, Corbin Burns, they dodged a bullet there, and I don't think they were ever in on Corbin Burns. Burns said they really never made a competitive offer. I don't think Posey wanted to get
Posey
involved in
took
that.
a lot of crap for that.
I commend him for that. Not just because Burns didn't, pan out and got Tommy John this year. I don't think it's worth signing any pitcher over 30 for 5 years.
Yeah. So unfortunately, they had a lot of hope in the young pitching. In Harrison, who didn't really pan out. Birdsong, still a big unknown. Roop could be good. We still don't know. And Wisenhunt, we don't know. So this year, you kind of hope to get some more, figure out if any of these guys are actually going to be good long-term or not. I think you're probably, you have Roop, and that's about it right now. A lot of question marks still. So it does answer some questions. You did have, going into this year, you had 4 guys in the minors that you were hopeful, but you didn't know what they were. And Harrison's gone. Birdsong and Wisenhunt, you're probably a little less gung-ho on. And I think you're feeling pretty good about Roop. But they're going to have to, in the offseason, address now they have starting pitcher. Going into this year, they had so many potential starters, and you didn't know what you had. And now going into next year, you're probably going to have to figure out a way to find some starting pitchers, because I'd say chances are Birdsong, Wisenhunt might not be the answer.
I don't think I would say Birdsong has better opportunity than Wisenhunt to be successful, in my opinion. That's just
he
based
has
on the stuff.
more pitches. Wisenhunt might be a bullpenner still.
Yep.
We just don't know.
Now, Chad brings up a good point. He says, why are Giants fans afraid of a rebuild? And then George says, Giants fans don't want to watch a rebuild. Go and be an A's Pirates Baltimore fan. Well, how would you categorize the last 4 years? You think this is fun to watch boring 500 baseball, the team that can't hit. Imagine if they did rebuild 5 years ago. Where do you think they'd be coming right out of it right now? And they'd be like where the Orioles have been. The Orioles have a down year, which can happen to any team. But where do you think the Giants would be if they actually tried to rebuild this and traded away from,
Yeah, but that ship has sailed, though, right? If you rebuild now, you've got Chapman, Adamus, and Devers. You got the best years of their career. The next 3 years, those the only time you're going to have them.
Yeah. So this is where I differ, because I don't think these guys are anything special. I think Chapman is, top of the line defensive player, clubhouse guy. To me, he's an above average player, but when it comes to clutch hitting, he's below average, and the facts back that up. So I don't think he's anything special when players come up like, oh gosh, we got Matt Chapman. Who do you want, Matt Chapman or Will Smith? Matt Chapman, Mookie Betts. Matt Chapman, Freddie Freeman. Matt Chapman, Kyle Schwarber. Matt Chapman, Bryce Harper. Matt Chapman, Jackson Church. I mean, I can go on and on and on. I'm just throwing out names that pop into my head. I just don't see Matt Chapman as anything special, and he's the kind of like the anchor of this team. He's like everything that they kind of built around. He's a role
player. He needs to be in that role, There's a room for Matt Chapman.
He's not a role player on this team, though. He's a star. He's their second best. I mean, you can argue between him and Adamus, who's the star of the team.
Adamus should be. Adamus should be hitting better than Chapman. Devers should be hitting better than Chapman. And they haven't really been, unfortunately. And Ramos should be.
This is why I say the team's flawed and going to go nowhere. You have nobody, and you have all these high-priced contracts. Devers is supposed to be the star now. He's the guy that's the proven star. So he needs to come back at some point, either later this year and just get in a groove, but starting at the beginning of next year, he needs to be what they traded for. And then if he's who they think they got, that could change what the other guys do. But if he's not,
absolutely,
if he's not the answer, if he doesn't come through, I'm sorry. You can't expect Matt Chapman to carry you offensively. No. And we've already seen Willie Adamus. He's not carrying any team without any protection. And, Lou, step in here. I know you got feelings on this. I just think this team is a middle of the road team going forward with the roster. And I don't see how it gets a whole lot better. That's
Dan. I thought I was Mr. Salty, but tonight you're on my bandwagon. It's good to have you with me. I think I personally think, they gave Buster a leash. Fans gave Buster a leash. Everyone believed in the Kool-Aid, but I think you bring up a lot of points. The Giants might be worse in year 2 of Buster than year 1, because really pitching this year was outstanding. Now it's falling apart, but that happens. Hitting, we just don't know. A lot of guys, if you look at the back of their baseball cards, they're doing what they should have. I think also we're really depending on our youth that we hope can fill the needs, and some of them aren't. I think the thing and you bring up a good point about Buster, is Buster has to think business. If you got to fire people, you got to fire people. I don't care if you played with a guy 8 years ago. It doesn't do the team any good now. It means nothing, and fans deserve this where, Buster, you're in charge. You said you're going to make this team more athletic. The team's not athletic. You said the team is not going to make mental errors and not make errors, and strike out. We're worse than last year, and the team is sort of stalled. And, I don't know what the answer is. I do know that your leader, if Buster's not making decisions, Melvin, why you would have Melvin, because if they're not respecting him now, you're going to have a whole offseason. You're going to start next year with the same crew. That doesn't do anything. I think, and we talked about this before, I think you have to get rid of anything that was part of Farhan. Anything. Get rid of the GM. What happened is I thought they were going to interview for a GM, and we hired someone that was Farhan's assistant. That's not really looking for anybody. And if you can't get anybody, fucking pay them. This team's got money. Pay other GMs to come. And it goes to this. If you remember, the Dodgers were suffering. And what did they do? They went to their opponents, and they went to the assistant GM and said, hey, we want to give you an opportunity to work for the Los Angeles Dodgers. It wasn't about the money. It was the opportunity to be the GM, make your own decisions and responsibility. One of the guests of the show, and he jumped at it, and it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going from the Giants to the Dodgers. It was the opportunity. And that's something, with Ned, he probably, this was the first time he'd ever been offered the head position. He didn't know that his former boss was going to retire, so he had to take it. And I think the problem with the Giants is everything's about being safe, stagnant. It's like they're giveaways. You have 40,000 people on a Sunday with the Dodgers, and you only give away the first 10,000. Well, you screw the other 30,000, but you're happy that the place is filled. But then you have 30,000 people that are done. Just like the Giants. I'm a season ticket holder. This year, if you had Field Club, they raised the rates $4,000. Nobody was told. All we know is, hey, you got to have your payment in October, and all of a sudden you got a bill that was $4,000 more than last year. The Giants, just their front office, their VP of merchandise, and some of these people have been there way too long. You got to move forward because baseball has changed. Everyone keeps talking, oh, the Giants did this in 10, 12, and 14. Baseball's not the same. Okay. Everything has changed. You got to get rid of people. And what's funny is the Giants got rid of the manager, the GM, because of the change, but the management really never changed. Like Larry Bear didn't change, and it's the thing is the ballpark. The only thing they've ever changed to the ballpark is they got rid of the garden and they got rid of the pitching mounds in the down the lines. That's it. They haven't changed the ballpark at all any other way. This year they were so
and Rusty, they got rid of him.
Yeah, they got rid of Rusty. The only thing that's been good the last couple, like I said, we had the two biggest things of the whole season was an inside the park from a guy that we don't even want as a catcher anymore, and then a minor leaguer against the Dodgers. They hit a 3-run homer to tie. Can you think of anything else this whole year beside the little league home run? That's it. With the highlights of the season.
By Matos. Well, let me bring this point up too, because you make some great points, Lou. George says no GM wanted to come and be a number 2 to Buster Posey. Not anyone who has a serious scouting background with GM experience. Billy Owens for the A's was not going to come, nor was Padres assistant. Okay, let me explain something to you, everybody. We had Dieter Kurtenbach on last December, and he brought it up even before they hired their GM. He said, my fear is they're going to end up signing somebody within Jeremy Shelley. He thought it was going to be Shelley, but then they did Zach Meneas and someone within. Here's the biggest problem. And this, again, the Giants giving the job to Buster Posey because they say he wanted it. I believe it was an ownership meeting group that it was already planned out. And they said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to, months before we're going to fire Farhan at the end of the season unless they, have this miraculous comeback and they make a deep playoff run. Farhan was going to get fired. Posey was going to take over the next day. Look, the biggest mistake that was made, and this shows their lack of experience, and foresight into the future in looking at things. They made Buster Posey the Pobo the day after they fired Farhan. Buster's an owner. Why does he have to be president of baseball ops? You now prevented yourself from hiring an experienced baseball general manager or president of baseball ops because you can't talk to anybody who's a GM to get them to become your GM. That's a lateral move. You certainly can't get a president of baseball ops to come be the GM. Exactly what George was saying. You cannot get a so you had to get an inexperienced, a non-GM, somebody who was a assistant GM to basically come in and be your president of baseball ops because Buster doesn't know exactly what he's doing. And so he's got to rely on somebody who has very little experience to basically come in and help Buster run baseball operations. Why do you think Bobby Evans is hired? He's a consultant that's helping Buster learn the job, right? So if Buster had just come in and said, I'm going to be hiring an experienced general manager to be the president of baseball ops, and I will be overseeing the baseball operations as the owner, as one of the owners of the team. My role will be overseeing, and I will be involved in the day-to-day. You could have got somebody with a title that had the experience. You could have pulled a GM to be president of baseball ops who's had the experience, like a Billy Owens, who was not going to come over and take the second job. Look, I've heard from several different people through different sources that have said they didn't want to come in and be a second man if they had the experience. No one wanted to be what's her name? Kim Yang. Is that her name? Kim Nang, Kim NG, whatever, however you pronounce that last name. She wasn't coming in to be Zach Menaeson's role. She's used to running the Marlins, right? She wasn't going to come in and be second fiddle. And that's exactly what the problem was what the Giants, they pigeonholed themselves into going after somebody that didn't have the experience. And so now they've got Zach Menaeson, who might turn out to be fine, and you got Buster Posey that's running president of baseball ops, learning the job and what it entails. Like, look, I was a sales manager for years, and I took a job in Louisiana because my job in Connecticut, as I told you about the sales earlier, it was just everything. We stopped getting leads. The marketing stopped putting money into the business. So my salespeople were leaving. We just basically weren't even selling. And I was sitting there and says, so I took this job in Louisiana as the director of sales, kind of like it was a role that was like, I'm used to helping people push them to get sales. This was a role that had me doing all kinds of clerical, I don't want to say clerical, but stuff that I wasn't good at. Okay. Whatever. I'll just say that I wasn't good at it. And I had to try to learn it. And that's exactly what Buster's doing. He's having to learn a position, the top of the baseball chain. How did Derek Jeter do as the president of baseball ops when he ran the whole show? How did Wayne Gretzky? Didn't Wayne Gretzky run the show with the team?
Coach and behind the scenes, yeah. Arizona.
Yeah, how did Wayne do?
They ran into the ground. They went bankrupt. Hell, they're not even playing in a stadium. They had to play in a place that holds 2,800.
Yeah.
That's how bad
So
it
what
was.
I guess what I'm saying is, just because you're a great baseball player and everybody loves your personality and you're a winner and all that, doesn't mean you can step into an executive role on day one and be successful. It's going to take years if he's even cut out for it. It's a special
I give
type
him-
of person. It takes a special type of person to,
Yeah, it does. And maybe
and
he's a special type of person.
he might be. I don't see the personality. Maybe he can do it. I see a guy who, to me, looks like he got taken in the Chapman deal. And if Devers doesn't pick it up by the end of the trade deadline next year and become what we think he should be, then he may have got the wool pulled over his eyes by Boston, knowing that Devers, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. This was a 41-29 team when they traded for Devers, and they've been awful. And I don't know anything else that changed. And look,
I mean, I don't
I'm
think
not-
Devers caused them to lose all those games.
I'm not saying he caused them to, but the team fell apart when they thought they were going to be winning, competing for the division.
Yeah, and we want to blame Buster for that?
You got to blame somebody. Melvin looks like the guy that probably has lost the team.
Yeah, I just think that, I mean, universally, it seems like everyone thinks that the Giants got a good deal in that trade. Other than
I
Boston.
still think they do too. I still think they did too. I'm just saying that, and I would have made that deal. I would have made that deal based on what we have seen, right? What we have seen in a performance. I would have made the deal, and I think it'll turn out fine. I'm hoping it does, but I'm just raising doubts about Buster. That's all. I'm not trying to say Buster is the worst guy in the world for the job. He may figure it out, but I don't think it's like, I'm just not on the Buster Kool-Aid bandwagon
Anymore.
where everybody thinks Buster is the guy and he'll figure it out and he'll get us out of this hole and he's going to be, you watch, Buster can do this. He might, he just might. I've said before, I believe in him as far as his desire, his desire to win. And, but I also look at a guy that at the press conference, when he was hired, when he took the job, didn't basically say anything. And when I listened to him on ESPN last Sunday night, I kind of heard the same thing. A guy that's just like,
yeah, but it's what you do. It's not what you say. You just,
yeah,
he's
a great guy.
You just toe the line and you make good and you say the right things and they all
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
So I don't expect him to be spilling secrets to the press or whatever, or trying to rile things up, or I don't know what you'd expect from him there, but
We'll
he's made
see.
some moves. I think
He's got,
I
in my
agree
opinion,
with many of the moves so far.
in
And
my opinion,
I'm
in 3 years, he's got to make the playoffs.
yeah, I think if they don't make the playoffs in his first 3 years, so he's got 2 more.
Yeah.
Then I think
Dan,
it will have failed as an experiment if they don't make the playoffs in the next 2 years after this.
Dan, I'll say this again. They did a desperate move. They probably say, Buster, do this. We'll give you another 2% of the ownership. You have 3 years. Try to turn it around. If it doesn't turn around and next year's just bad, I don't think Buster. Why would Buster come back for year 3? I think he has 3 years to try to do something, and then he'll walk. He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the challenge. And if he has 3 bad years, everyone's going to say, God, what a shitty GM. You know, they're going to forget about how great he was as a baseball player. And he doesn't want that.
I don't
he's
think
a winner.
anything he could do as the GM or president of baseball operations would affect what he did as the
I agree.
catcher
That's why I'm
for the World Series years. I don't think there's any tarnishing of any legacy. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I don't know. I think it hasn't gone well for him. I think that there's been some bad luck. I think a lot of players underachieved this year. Almost the entire offense underachieved. And unfortunately, that happens in baseball sometimes. You have good years and you have bad years. And too many players had bad years.
Coach Coran is all over me. We'll see, Coach. I've been right for 2 years about this team. I've been one of the only guys that's saying it. Looks like I'm going to be wrong this year as far as them being a winning team. I said they were not a playoff team, but I thought they'd win 85, 86 games. I think I'm going to be wrong there. Hopefully they pull it together. But I'll say this, guys. I think you guys should be Coach Coran says they don't understand. Look, I understand completely an athlete's mentality very clearly. No, they're not quitters on or off the field. No one's calling them a quitter. I'm just saying.
No, but they're not playing well.
Yeah, I'm not saying
Buster's
right a quitter whatsoever. I think he's a tremendous, he's got tremendous desire, and he's going to fight whatever he can to make this a winning team. I think his hands are tied. You don't have a lot of talent. You don't have a lot of talent in the farm system to bring assets, better assets to your team. You don't have Farhan left the cupboard empty pretty much, and you don't have a ton of great major league talent on the roster. You have adequate talent in, I will say, above average talent in 3 of the positions, third base, shortstop, and I'm still going to include Elliot Ramos as above average. He's having a rough year, but I think Ramos, Chapman, and Adamus are above average. I think Rafael Devers is a proven all-star. So those 4 guys. But and then you got Webb and Ray.
Yep.
So I don't think there's a lot of serious talent to make a real run at this, because I've seen enough. I'm seeing the same thing I saw last year with Chapman. I'm seeing the exact same thing. And what is going to make Chapman better next year? A year older.
He'll be the same guy. He's the same guy every year.
He's going to be the same guy. And
right.
Adamus historically starts off slow, and he has big second halves. What's going to make Willie Adamus go back to what he was last year at Milwaukee? I don't think we're going to see that at Oracle.
No,
it's just not going to
work. The year
work.
before, there'll be a happy medium there. He won't be as bad as this year. He won't be as good as the previous year.
Right. So, and then Ramos hopefully has a bounce back year, and Devers hopefully has a bounce back year. But then what are you going to do with the rest of the club? You don't have a right fielder. You don't have a center. I don't think you have a center fielder. And I don't think you have a catcher. And second base is questionable. And so, and then you have 2 pitchers that you can count on. And Ray, you better hope you're in a real contention at the All-Star or at the trade deadline, or Rays should get moved. So you better hope that this team is, in a wild card position when the trade deadline comes, that they're not 5 games back, but they're 3-4 games up. Otherwise,
yep, that'll be the decision next year.
Yeah.
If they're not in a playoff spot, then they'll have to move Ray and call it. And if they're in the playoffs, then you got to go for it.
I'm just trying to not be negative, but raise the awareness of where this team is headed. Lee's done a little better, Coach. He's gone the opposite way. He's gone a little better, but he's not shown to be a consistent hitter. He hasn't. The guy should be getting at least a hit every game. I mean, he should be going at least 1 for 4. He does too many 0 for 4s, Lee, for a guy should be just a slap hitter. He should be a 280 plus hitter, this guy. Instead, Jung-Hoo Lee is, what is he hitting? Like 250 right now? Something like that?
Less than that.
Less than that? Yeah. I mean, yeah. So we'll see. I
250.
I don't know if you watch a lot of baseball, Coach, out there, but I watch a ton of baseball, and I see a lot of teams that have much better contact skills than the Giants. I've never seen a team strike out so much that you know a rally's going to die. So
happened today.
Anyway,
you saw it. Hey, Dan, I just wanted to bring up one thing. First of all, 2 hours and 35 minutes. Okay. With St. Louis winning tonight, if we lose tomorrow, we're going to be in 8th for the wild card. 8. That means we got to jump 5 teams. Okay. So there's no reason to keep playing all the starters, do all this. There's no reason why we can't see what we have in the youth. I mean, if you were to say at the beginning of the season, hey guys, in the wild card, we're going to be 8th, and that doesn't include Atlanta that's had more injuries than everybody. So it's
agreed.
It's bad. Something
we
has
shouldn't
to
even
be
talking about the wild card.
Yeah.
They should just be playing for next year.
Forget the wild card. But again, I'll say this in closing as we get out of here. McRae, and they're going to play McRae. We know McRae strikes out a third of the time, and Matos doesn't strike out. So you're going to add a guy that just strikes out more than Yaz. So, I mean, what's the point of playing McRae? You should have just kept Yaz. It's like Matos has to play because you have to realize he's out of options. McRae's got options. Matos, you have to find out in 50 games, is he part of the future or not? But you're not going to find out because he's going to get to play 25% of the time. So if you got 50 games left, Matos gets to play in about 12 or 13 games.
Yep.
How does that work?
Hey, Buster, Melvin, play Matos, right field or left field tomorrow. Left field, because Ramos should not be playing tomorrow.
Yeah, just play. You got to find out. This is the mindset. I don't understand this thinking. McRae had 2 hits, and he had a really nice throw into second base too. I don't know where that ball was going, but no, McRae is gonna, when he hits it, he's gonna hit it. But I don't see him being a guy that strikes out a third of the time. I'm sorry, not ready to play in the major leagues when you can't hit for average.
32% in the PCL and 400 at bats.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right, guys, we're back tomorrow night, 8:00. I think it's Giants, the hot corner tomorrow night, I believe. So we'll be back. Giants, Mets tomorrow morning, early game. So Carson Whisenhunt to the mound. We'll see how it goes.
No hitter.
There we go. No hitter. Giants get no hit tomorrow. You heard it right here from Dallas. All right. We'll see how it goes, guys. Have a good rest of your Saturday night and enjoy your Sunday. And maybe go to church tomorrow. Maybe that'll help the Giants. They need it. All right, guys. Have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow night. Take care.